Hey guys, in today's video, we're checking out an app called Multitracker, and this is an awesome app that can be used to do backing tracks and MIDI from your iPad. And not just doing backing tracks, but it can also do multi-track outputs. In my case, I'm going to be using a Behringer XR18, and I can get 18 different sends. So I can send bass on one channel, drums on another channel, backing vocals on another channel, click track on another channel, so on and so forth, all with just one cable from one iPad. So we're going to go over it and how it works. A few things right off the bat. I am not going to spend a whole lot of time on how to create backing tracks. If you want to go over that, I have a whole playlist done on how to create backing tracks. I would watch my video on that if that's what you're here for, and then come back and watch this video on how to use this app. And secondly, I did say iPad. This app is only available for iPad. If I do find one that works for Android devices and stuff like that, I will leave it as a pinned comment down below. Pretty cool app. I've been using it myself while I've been gigging. It works great. I actually just got back from playing a week in Dominican Republic. I used this for all of our backing tracks. It worked awesome. We're going to check it out and see if this is something you could be interested in. So before we get started, I do videos like this all the time, stuff on MIDI programming, backing tracks, gear reviews, finding cheap stuff for musicians on Amazon, stuff like that. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified when I put out new videos, and hitting the thumbs up button is a free way to support the channel. All right, let's go ahead and check out Multitracker. So the way that you get files on to the app, there's a couple of ways. So first of all, on your Mac, you can open a Finder, and then click on your iPad, and then you see where it says General and all that stuff. Go over to Files, and then you're going to click on Multitracker, and you can drop all your files in there. So for example, if I wanted to drop Wagon Wheel in there, I could just drag and drop and put all of them in there. You can either do it as folders, or you can drag them individually. I do recommend doing folders. It just makes it a little bit easier to find if you're going to be doing multi-tracking for sure. The other option that you can do is you can airdrop it. So I'm going to, right click, share, airdrop, send it to my iPad. It'll say, where would you like to open it? It'll say, where would you like to load this into? I'm going to say Multitracker, and then it'll save it into Multitracker. But that's how you get files onto there. You can do that with MIDI files as well, which I will show you here later. Okay, so this is how I'm going to be demoing this. So this is the Behringer XR18 that I'm going to be using as the mixer. This iPad right here is going to have Multitracker open, and then this one is going to just be my mixing on the console, since it's a digital mixer. Just FYI, the Behringer XR18 does have a USB input, but the 12 and the 16 do not. So if you do want to do this, with the Behringer ones, you're going to have to get the 18. So normally the way that you do backing tracks from an iPad is you get a cable like this, 3.5 millimeter stereo to 2 TS mono ones. So this plugs into the top of the iPad, and then this one is the right one, so that contains all of your tracks or your click. In my case, it contains the click, and this one is everything that's panned hard left and contains all the tracks. So then you would go into input 2, and that would send all of your click and cues, and then this one would go into here, and that would go to tracks, which would go to front of house to be mixed. Again, if you don't know how to do that, you should watch my video where I go into detail about it. So first I'm going to show you how to do this as a multi-track output, so you can send up to 18 different individual channels over USB. If you're interested in just using this app in the normal way with one file where all the tracks are panned to the left and all the click and cues are panned to the right, go ahead and skip to this part on the screen. For this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this cable. So this is Lightning to USB-B. I'll post a link down in the description. The Lightning is going to go into the iPad, and then the USB is going to go into the mixer. And you're going to see it now says, oh, the audio outputs that are available have changed. Let me actually start screen recording so that it's a lot easier to see what is going on. So you can see that it says these are the inputs that are available. It gives me 18 channels, just like there are 18 channels available on the XR18, obviously. So the way that this app works, and the way that I'm going to be sending audio to you guys, is just out of my headphone out. I'm going to be recording into my audio interface so you can hear what's going on. So what you're going to do is you have multiple options down here at the bottom. So basically you work your way over. You configure your songs, then you configure your playlist, and then in live view, you have start, stop, and play. So in song configuration, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the imported files. So, you can create your own files. So this is where I have, if we perform as a 2-piece, as a 3-piece, or as a 4-piece here. They do also give you some demo songs if you want to mess around with this. Mine are under imported files. And you can see I have 6 different tracks for Wagon Wheel. Yes, I'm tired of covering it too. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click all these and bring these into the right over here. So I do it in this order: drums, bass, tracks, backing vocals, clicks, and cues. So now you can see they're all over here. right? So now what you have to do is you have to say you're going to assign those to which output. So I'm going to click for drums. I'm going to send that out output 1. And I do want it to go left and right. There is a setting in the settings menu where you can set it so it's just mono. I like having both just in case. For the bass, I'm going to set that out to channel 2. Tracks out channel 3. Backing vocals out channel 4. Click out channel 5. And the cues out on channel 6. So now that's how these are configured. So now when I push play, you would think you would hear something, right? You would hear at least click or something, especially if I turn it up on the iPad. But I'm not getting anything. Actually, while I'm here, let me just go ahead and just name everything. Cool. So, and this is in the Mixing Station app. It's a great app if you guys have never used it. It's really awesome. So if I hit play, you'd think you would be able to hear stuff, but obviously it's not. Even if I go forward and you can see all of the tracks are playing, you can see it's getting a signal right now, but I don't hear anything. And in the app, what you have to do is, so I'm going to go to drums. I'm going to go to configure. I'm going to leave everything, all the volume down for right now. Drums. And this is in configure, and this is in Mixing Station in just like the XAir, it's under configure, but I'm going to set the source to USB. Now you can see that I'm getting a signal. So now I'm going to move over for the bass, set that to USB, and it's going to be USB 2, next one, USB, again, USB 3, USB 4 for tracks, or vocals, USB 5 for click, and USB 6 for the cues. Now you can see I'm getting signal for all of these. So now when I start bringing stuff up, now you can hear the click. There's no vocals in this part. You can hear the tracks going. You can hear the bass. And you can hear the drums. So I can set my mix however, I want. So I usually don't like a whole lot of backing vocals. This click would obviously just go to me. Here are the cues. So what I use for cues, let me just turn everything down.
Wagon wheel. Guitar in, ready, go.
So that's what cues are for me. So that obviously just goes to my ears. So you would mix those accordingly for your ears. If you don't know how to do that, I do have a whole video teaching you how to run your own ears. But basically now, what I have done is I have this set up so that now, let me go ahead and stop this. Now I have this set up so that I can use just one cable. And again, it's just going right here, USB input on the BEHRINGER, and I can send up to 18 different tracks, all mixed separately. So it's able to multi-track with an iPad, which is really cool. And if you are interested in doing this in the more traditional way, here's how you do it. So you're not going to be doing multi-tracking. So again, this is all by one file. You've panned all the tracks hard left and all the click hard right, and it's just one MP3 or WAV file. So down at the bottom, you have your song configuration, playlist mode, live view, help, and settings. So we're going to configure the songs first. That's the first thing you want to do. So when you plug in your splitter cable, it's going to say that now the outputs are headphone left and right. So hit OK. And again, you're going to, go to your imported songs. So let's just say Billie Jean in this case. And what I'm going to do is you click the out button, and everything to the left is going to go to headphone left, and everything on the right is going to go to headphone right. So now when you push play, you can see that on the right, you can see my click track is going, and then on the left, you can see that my drums are going. Because that's, how the song starts, now the bass is going to come in. That's how you would do the configuration as just a single file. Okay, and then obviously, so on each of them, so if I want drums, bass, tracks, vocals, or whatever, I can change the EQ here. I can do some compression and stuff like that. I don't usually mess with that. I will turn up, the volume if I need to. Usually I have it mixed pretty well, but just in case if like the vocals are too hot, I can turn those down here as well. I'm happy with where it's at, but let's just say I do want the vocals down just a hair. So I'm going to move the backing vocals down just a tiny bit. So now they're a little bit quieter. So now what you're going to do is you're going to save the song. So I'm going to save this wagon wheel. I need to save it as YouTube demo so I don't accidentally load this when I'm performing this song. So now it is saved. And then what you go over to is you go over to your playlist view. So I already have one from one of my gigs that I did, so I'm going to clear that out. And here's where you start creating your playlists. So over here in songs, so here's where you see all the songs that you have saved from when we were on the song configuration page. And I'm going to load in Wagon Wheel YouTube demo. And I'm going to start building my playlist. So I'm just going to put a couple of different songs in here. It does not matter. I'm just showing you the general idea. So again, you create your songs over here, which we did for Wagon Wheel. So you're going to do the same steps for all your other songs. And then you're going to go over to playlist view and you're going to create a playlist, right? So, this is about a 30-minute set. So when I'm happy with that, I could save it and save it as, 30-minute YouTube set or whatever. I'm not going to save this set because I'm not going to need this. And then You can hit edit and you can drag and put them in a different order if you would like. It does not always grab the easiest, but if I want to put What I Like About You first and then Want to Be second and then Wagon Wheel YouTube demo third, you can do that. And then you can resave it if you would like, or you could load different ones. So this is some of our presets that I've saved already. And then once you're happy with that, what you do is you go into live view and you can see you have all of your tracks right here. And all you have to do is you just hit start and the song starts playing. You can click, if you want to start What's My Age Again, you can push that. The thing that's nice is that, let's say the song is done and I can click Wonderwall. And, when the song finishes, it will start up Wonderwall. So whatever song I click puts it into queue next. The only way to stop the song is to hit stop and then go to Wicked Game and hit start. But, if I wanted it to go, right now it's going to go just down the playlist. But say I want to go back to Wannabe or something like that. Now it's going to put Wannabe next and then obviously Wagon Wheel YouTube demo as the next one. If I want to put Wonderwall next, I can do that. You can also just, hit next and it'll start the next song. And you can also scroll through the song here using this slider. Pretty basic stuff. Back in playlist mode, just a few things that you might want to know. You can have repeat playlist on or off. I usually leave that off. And pause between songs, I usually have that off as well because I personally want to go right into the next song when I'm performing. That's up to you if you want to do this. Over here on the left, you do get a few things that you get. So if you hit size, you can resize some of these. The main thing that you're going to need over here is that you can see, so if you're like, oh, the vocals are still too hot, I'm going to turn them down. You can turn them down here. You have to go back into this configuration and save it as such. But if you do just in the moment as you're performing the song, because if you're performing it over here and then you go over here, you're like, oh man, those vocals are way too hot. You have quick access to do that in the app as well, which is really cool. You can also just stay in this view, because you still have start and stop right here, and you have next as well. But for me, I like to be in live view. One of the things that you can do, you can also add a click. So you turn that on and you send that out. Now I'm just going out speaker 1 and 2 just so you can hear what's going on while I record this. I'm going to say send this out speaker 1 and 2, even though you would only usually want to send it out left or right. But then when I hit start, you can hear that the click is going. And then over here, so you can tap the tempo, or you can type in the tempo if the song is 100 beats per minute. You can set the time signature. If you don't like, the accents, you can set that there. The click sounds, you have a couple of different, types of sounds or whatever you want to do. So you do get an option for a click track if you would like. Again, when you configure the song, you save the song, save it as whatever you want. So you can save it. And then when you go into playlist mode, you'll see all the songs that you have saved over here. It's pretty nice that you get that. You do get this MIDI remote option right here. So if you push MIDI remote, you can assign to these certain things to turn on or off. The best way to do this is to just hit learn, and it's waiting for a MIDI signal. So for example, I have this set up. So I already have this set up where on my Blueboard, when I push this button, it'll start and then stop. So let me get out of MIDI remote and watch what happens. You can see it starts the song and stops the song.
9 to 5.
Start, stop. This is to go to the next track and so on and so forth. So that is a cool little feature that you get in here as well. So if you do want to control it with MIDI, you have that option. And that's the easiest way to do it. Hit MIDI remote and then hit learn MIDI for whatever parameter you would like to control, and then push the button on your device and it will assign it automatically. Going over settings, you have a couple of things in here. So if you do want to do your purchases, you can see what happens in here. If you don't set it up, you only get 5 songs before it has like an announcement in between. If you don't need the MIDI, you don't have to buy it. I bought the full version. I definitely think it's worth it. A couple of general settings here. You can read some of these. They're pretty basic to understand. Nothing that I really need to go over, but change pause to previous if you want that instead. So over here, it won't say pause. It'll say previous instead. This is cool. Set the number of taps to start a song. So you can set it to 2 or 1 or 2 to stop it. That way you don't accidentally hit stop in the middle of a performance. You have to double tap it in order to stop it. That might be a good option as well. You also have your file manager here. So if you do need to, move stuff around, you have that option, or put stuff into different folders. You can also do MIDI for this. So let's go back to a song configuration. I'm just going to say I'm going to do this with Billie Jean. If you hit MIDI up here, you can click here and you can add, it's a .mid file. So I exported this from Logic. So I did all my MIDI commands in Logic. This is not a video about how to program MIDI. I have multiple videos on that. So if you're interested in that to learn how to do this, check out those videos. I will link them up above and down below. But I'm going to load up the MIDI file, and it saved it, as a MIDI configuration right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit MIDI again, and it brings this up. So you're going to say, where do you want to output this to? I am using the WIDI master, which is a wireless MIDI device. So I'm going to connect to that. So where are you trying to send the signal to? The WIDI master. And you'll see when I hit start, see how the buttons move? That's just a quick test that I did. 1, 2, and 3. So it's changing the buttons automatically over MIDI. That's how you would do that. You do have a couple of other options in here, like you can send a program change if you want. So I'm going to say send program change over MIDI Bluetooth. Mine is on channel 4. That's what my HX Stomp receives on. And I'm going to say send program change 10. And you can see that it loaded preset 10 when you start the song. So let me go ahead and just change this to a different track. So when I hit start, it'll load number 10. You can see that. And then it did all of the commands that I wanted to do. I programmed all my MIDI stuff in Logic, exported it, and then imported it into Multitracker. Again, you can find here in the file manager. You have all of that in here. And it is nice because it gives you, it shows you which ones are files and which ones are MIDI. But you save it as a .mid file and you load it and configure it in here as such. Once you're happy with it, again, if you want the click and the MIDI and all that stuff, and then you save it as you would like. If all of that went over your head, watch my video on how to program MIDI, and it will make sense. Okay, so there you go. So pretty simple or pretty advanced. It's not really just a plug and play type of thing. I mean, if you really just load your track into the standard iTunes, or music folders. I guess it's not called iTunes anymore, but the music app, and then just hit play and organize your set list that way. You can totally do that. This one just gives you a couple of more features, especially if you're going to do multi-tracking and MIDI. Pretty cool, very reliable. I definitely like it. So yeah, hope this helped you guys out. If you guys did find this useful, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you plan to use this. And if you did find this helpful, do me a favor, just hit the thumbs up button. It's a free way to support the channel. It's annoying to ask for it, but it really does help and feed the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. So I would appreciate it. If you haven't seen the backing track video series, that was actually the first series I did on YouTube, so check that out. Also, I've done a ton of different videos on MIDI programming if you are interested in diving into that world. Those videos you can find by clicking the links on your screen now. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Ewell Music on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, mostly on Instagram. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. But then when I hit start, what the hell?